Okay, class, today we are doing 5.3, writing linear equations in point slope form. This is Miss Hager, and today we have also
Miss Fitzgerald. Welcome, ladies. Hey, Miss Hager, what's today's swab at?
Today students will be able to write linear equation in point slope form.
Wonderful. So the point slope form of a line that goes through the point x1, y1 with a slope of m is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1.
Okay, so what that means to me is we're going to take our slope m and plug it in, and we're going to take our x1, y1 and plug in our x1 and y1, and the variables are going to be our x and our y.
That's correct, Miss Hager. That's correct.
Okay, so it's just like what we've been doing before, but it's a different equation we're plugging it in.
I think it's an important equation, and I think that we should all make sure that we memorize this equation. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, let's see how we use these problems. So the point slope form equation is up here, so we have it handy. And for these problems, we're going to write the equation in point slope form of the line that passes through the given point and has the given slope. Okay, so for the first problem, I'm given a point and a slope. So what should I do first with that point?
The first thing I would do, Miss Hager, is to label the x and the y.
Okay, so I'm going to label the x and the y. So I have an x, a y, and an m. What do I do?
Okay, so here's the thing. When you're plugging in, you're going to be plugging into x1 and y1. Some people like to put a 1 by their labels so that they know which ones will change and which ones will stay the same.
Okay.
So, Miss Hager, wherever you see a y1, what are you going to write?
6.
Very good. Wherever you see an m, what will you write?
3/2.
And whenever you see an x1, what will you write?
-6.
That's right. Plug them all in.
Okay, so I'm going to write the equation down first, just so it helps me memorize it.
Good job.
And I'm going to leave my y as y. I'm going to subtract y1, which we said was 6. My m was 3/2. My x stays x, and I'm going to subtract my x1. So I'm going to subtract -6, which becomes +6.
Good job.
Am I done?
No, ma'am. Just kidding. That is it for point slope form. That's all you have to do. Do not distribute. Do not combine any terms. Do not do anything else. That is perfect, Miss Hager. Perfect.
Well, this seems way easier than the slope-intercept form because I had to solve for b with that one.
Well, we'll do a little bit more work later on, but for now, let's enjoy this moment.
Okay, so for number 2, as before, we're going to label it as x1, y1. Okay, can you show us how to do that one?
I can. I'd be more than happy to, Miss Hager. So, okay, and we're back. So plugging in, although you didn't realize that we left because we pressed pause, we have y minus y1, which is 5, is equal to -1 times x minus x1, which is 3. And then I have my parentheses. Hey, Miss Hager, should I make that just a negative sign or should I leave it as -1? What do you think?
Well, we don't need that -1, so you could just make it a negative sign.
Okay, so I'm going to write this as y minus 5 equals negative of x minus 3. And I'm going to box it to make it official. What do you think?
Perfect. Sounds good.
Awesome. What's next?
Okay, let's see. Okay, so here it says that we need to graph the equation. So remember, we are in point slope form, which is y minus y1 is m times x minus x1. So we plugged in the points x1 comma y1. So when we plug in the x1, it's x minus that number. So when it says x plus 1, that was really x minus a -1.
Good job.
So my x1 is -1, and this is y minus y1. So my y1 is just 1, because it's minus a y1.
Okay. So, Miss Hager, are you basically just using the opposite signs?
Yes, it is the opposite signs.
Okay. How would I write that as a coordinate?
So my coordinate, my x1, y1 is -1, comma 1.
Good deal.
So now I'm going to plot that point, -1, 1. And my slope is 3/4. So my slope is 3/4, which is rise over run, is 3/4. So I'm going to rise 3 and run 4. So I'm going to start at this point that I plotted, and I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, and run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I have 2 points. And I'm going to graph the equation, so it's a line. So now I'm going to draw the line through those 2 points. Okay, so there is my lovely line, which you should draw with a ruler, of course, and that's me using a straight edge on the computer. And then I'm just going to label my points. So I labeled my first point on the axes, and my second point has a y-coordinate of 4 and an x-coordinate of 3, and I put arrows on my line. So, Ms. Fitzgerald, can you walk us through the second equation?
I can absolutely do that. So here's what I noticed. I noticed that for your point, you're basically using x1, y1, but you were saying that it was the opposite sign. So for x1, instead of positive 6, it will be negative 6. And for y1, instead of minus 1, it's going to be positive 1. Is that correct?
Looks good.
Okay, and my slope is this number right here because it's in front of the parentheses, so that's going to be 3. I like to write it as a fraction so that I can see the rise over the run. So here's my starting point, negative 6, 1. So I'm going to go left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 1. From here, my slope tells me where to go. So I'm going to go up, 1, 2, 3, and right 1. So I think I forgot to label. How about that? So here's my point, negative 6, 1. Labeling key points on my axes. This point is over negative 5, and how high is that? Looks like it's 4. Okay, I think I'm ready to connect my dots. So there's my line. Hey, looks pretty good, huh?
Yep, better than mine. Okay, let's see what the next slide says. So here it says, write the equation in point-slope form of the line that passes through the given points. So I'm going to write down the point-slope form. Y minus y1 is m times x minus x1. I'm not given the slope this time, so what do I need to do?
I think we need to find the slope. Remember the slope formula, Miss Igra?
It's m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
I agree.
So I'm going to label my points.
Yes, please.
So x1, y1, and x2, y2. And I'm just going to plug it in. So I have 2 minus a negative 2 over negative 3 minus 9. So that becomes 4 over negative 12, which is negative 1/3.
That's right.
Okay, so I have my slope. And before we just plugged in a point into our equation. But now I have 2 points.
Right. So, Miss Hager, you can actually use either of these 2 points, but here's what I like to do. Because this is x1 and y1, and we have x1 and y1, let's use the first point when we plug in.
Okay, so we're going to use that point and that slope. So y minus y1, so minus a negative 2 becomes plus 2, equals m, negative 1/3, times x minus x1, which is 9. And that is my equation.
Very good.
Okay, so the next one looks the same, but we're given a graph.
We are given a graph. So we still have 2 points, and although it doesn't matter, I'm going to let the top one be x1, y1, and the bottom one be x2, y2. Now, Ms. Hager, I don't really feel like doing all of this work to figure out what my slope is. So if you don't mind, I'm going to use the slope triangle.
What a good idea. Nice shortcut.
Yeah, a little bit less work than what you had to do, but it's okay. I don't mind. So slope triangle is rise over run. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's negative 6 because I went down. And then I'm going to go to the right 1, 2, 3. And that's positive because I went to the right. So my slope being rise over run. So it's going to be negative 6 over 3. I'm going to reduce that. Negative 6 divided by 3, Miss Higer, is?
Negative 2.
Good job. Negative 2. So that's my slope. My point, x1, y1, is negative 2, 3. So I'm going to plug right into the formula that you wrote down for me right over here. So I'm going to have y minus y1, which is 3, equals m, which is negative 2, times x minus x1. So that's going to be plus 2 because it's minus negative 2. How about I distribute, Miss Hygra?
Nope, no need.
Why not?
Well, because this is the point slope form, so we are done.
We are done. Let's make it official and put a big, ginormous cricket box around it.
That's a great looking box.
I know. It's pretty. It's gorgeous. I've been working on it.
Well, I think we're done.
I think we're done. Good night, ladies. Have a good one.